evening, everyone. Welcome. Buenas tardes. We're calling our meeting to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Mr. Beatty, who will lead us with the pledge of allegiance?
I will do the honors, Board President.
Thank you.
At this time, please stand. Turn and face the flag. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Dr. Fajardo present. Vice President, Ms. Angeles Gonzalez. Clerk Karina Cordero. Present. Mr. Burgers will not be here. And Ms. Cruz, Marisol Cruz. Present. Thank you. Okay, 4 members present, 1 member absent. Okay. At this time, Superintendent, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda, Board President.
Okay, I need a motion to move. Move by Ms. Cordero, second by Ms. Gonzalez. Okay, no changes. Vote. Carlos, yes. Ms. Gonzalez?
Sí.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So we're moving on to item number 4, recognitions, presentation, and special order of business.
Okay.
District updates.
Okay, so good evening, Board of Trustees and Lennox community. Welcome back to our 25-26 school year and to our first regular board meeting of the year. To anyone new to our Lennox School District or who may be joining us for the first time on YouTube, it is my honor to introduce to you our Lennox School District Board of Education, beginning with our Board President, Dr. Angela Fajardo, our Vice President, Mrs. Angeles Gonzalez, our Clerk, Karina Cordero, our Board Member who's not present with us tonight, but Mr. Julio Cesar Vargas, and our Board Member, Mrs. Marisol Cruz. So thanks to the hard work of our board and our executive cabinet, we have new board goals that are clearly aligned to our LCAP and metrics as well. There are pupil outcomes, the conditions of learning, and engagement. Our district's mantra and vision continue to be, our Lennox students are on the flight path to success, and our vision is that every Lennox School District student will successfully transition to college or career. Other work that our board also was busily this spring was to update our mission, and that meant keeping up with the needs of our students, with the ever-changing needs of our society, and that meant updating our mission, and that was cradle to college, to have community as well as culture of caring, and to be career bound. So these are our new district missions, and these have been presented to our administrators to carry on and cascade to our school sites as well. So moving on to our district updates. We do not have any school updates this month, so we will jump into our district updates. And I'm excited to be entering year 32 in education. And yes, I started when I was 2. And year 4 here in the Lennox School District Superintendent. Time sure does fly when you're having fun, as I tell my husband. But I begin with my first update, celebrating our annual Welcome Back breakfast at Moffett. And it truly was a wonderful celebration. It was great to see all of our staff, and just thank you to all of the hard work and planning from all of our teams. Our maintenance team, our tech team, our nutrition team, our instructional services, personnel. It truly was a great collaboration of everyone working together to make this event a great time and a great celebration of our employees. Thank you, Dr. Fajardo, Mrs. Valle, and Mr. Catalan for your uplifting words to our staff. We thank and we congratulate all of our employees who were recognized from their years of service, from anywhere from 10 all the way to 40 years of service to Lennox. So we thank them for their dedication to our community. But the most exciting part of the breakfast was not the chilaquiles, although they were very good, but it was truly to learn who the 2 employees of the school year were going to be to represent us for the 25-26 school year. So I do want to give a very heartfelt congratulations to Monica Aguiniga from Felton, who was our classified employee of the school school year, and Renee Tinneman from Lennox Middle School, who's our certificated employee of the school year. Both very deserving, and it was wonderful to hear just all of the accolades and to see the family and the outpouring support, not only from their own family, but from the Lennox family. So just congratulations to both of them, and just we're very proud to call them our own here in Lennox. So this summer ended with our annual 2-day leadership retreat. This year's theme is cooking up a recipe for success, and as you can see here on the right-hand side of your frame, our Lennox leaders were definitely not afraid to jump inside the kitchen. We reviewed professional expectations, board goals, we jumped into our data analysis, we looked at action plans, we talked about opening of the year protocols, we did a little fishing training, thanks to Mr. Knuckles. We began our book study of A Time for Change. We did ASCII training, boundaries and reporting. We did workplace violence prevention, training and review. But it could not be all work, right, Cabinet? It could not be all work. We had to do a little play. So thanks to the generous contribution from Schools First, we were able to participate in a fun afternoon team building, pasta making activity that evening. And as you can see there, no one was hurt, although I have to say that some of our administrators are so competitive. So competitive, my goodness. But they did have us making our own pasta, and at the end, as you can see Ms. Castellanos there holding the big platter, it was actually a very delicious and not too spicy pasta casserole for everybody to eat. And it was, I believe, a very, very great and just energetic retreat for everyone, just to get very fired up about this year's retreat. I wanted to pass out a couple of artifacts for our board to have. First of all, a copy of everyone to have their own individual district goals. And in there is a copy of not only our demographics, our district commission, our goals, along with the metrics, but just culminating with the Board of Education as well, just so that if ever you're asked, what are your district goals? You can say, oh, hold on, let me show you. Here they are. But one of the things that I asked our leaders this year is share one very quick recipe that you have, because I know there's times that you don't have a lot of energy, but having a quick little recipe at hand will help you feed not only your own body, but probably those within your home, those that you love. So I want to share those recipes with our Board of Education. So now you've got a recipe from every one of your Lennox leaders, along with a cute little chef's hat and an apron, so that you can cook your little hearts out this year for your family. And hopefully your family will be appreciative of one of those recipes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our EdTech Summit. So we held our first ever Tech Summit on August 6th, and thank you to our instructional services team and tech team. It was a huge success. The theme of this year's summit was Emerging Technology Symposium, Empowering AI-Enhanced Teaching, and it truly was with our teachers in mind. So as you see from our topics, it truly was topics that they can embrace, and it was very self-selective. So it was really a menu-based. They can choose throughout the day. They had a choice. I believe it was 3 different sections that they can go in. And we had a great keynote speaker who was an award-winning teacher out in Riverside, I believe. San Bernardino. And like I said, and just different workshops that our teachers can go ahead and select. And if you look to see in terms of whether it was demystifying AI, ethics and safety, project-based, teacher productivity, it was really great to see just some of these engaging topics. And we thank our partners at Centennial Valley for allowing us to use their Hawthorne facilities, which were very comfortable, and allowing us to really spread out and to be able to make this event a success. In the next slide, you'll see just some of the different workshops that were there and just how they were laid out. I know we were able to have, like I said, about 150 teachers attend. So like I said, yeah, like I said, I know it was the day before our 2 already planned PDs. So like I said, hopefully it's the first of many tech summits to come. But hopefully it did give many of our teachers who were maybe hesitant to begin with AI, maybe, like I said, a little more confident about moving forward. I think if anything, it's left now some more questions in terms of how we move forward, because it's not so much about how do we use, it's now how do we teach our students that it's okay to use, that we want you to use, but now how do we use it responsibly? So I think those are going to be the next steps that we encourage our teachers and our staff to use as well. So thank you, Becky, and to Raul for your team as well for our first AI summit. So as part of our recipe for success, our counselors, administrators, and cabinet participated in the first annual You Matter Home Visit Day. And thank you, Mrs. Munoz, for your leadership in preparing all of this. But this was just a day for us to really establish and to go out into our community, to really designate and say who have been some of our families that maybe didn't have such a great year this last year, whether it be for attendance or maybe other reasons why they weren't attending school. And so we set out into teams to basically go out and to reach out to at least 80 of our families to do homeschool visits, and it was a wonderful success to go out and just basically say, you matter to us. We want you to have a great year. We're here whenever you need to reach out to us. And I know I was able to to partner up with Mr. Casillas from Jefferson, and it was just really wonderful for them to to reach out and say like, yeah, last year this took place, but this year we're going to do this. Like already beginning with like we're going to do this differently this school year. And like I said, and to be out in our community and to see our families and our students, some of them were still sleeping, which is fine. But we even had a family say, "Come on inside, sit down, and just tell us about what they did over the summer." She was showing us some of the art projects that they were doing. I just think it's just so powerful for our community to see that we are here for them, and regardless of what our role is, all of our cabinet was there. They're supporting our counselors and our administrators, our APs, and just like I said, hopefully the first of many, many more annual home visits to come. But just way to set up our families for success for the school year. And then lastly, I know prior to us going on break, we talked about 2 different ways to work on branding our district. The first one was Quarter Creative, and they were there at our breakfast on yesterday. Oh my gosh, it was just yesterday. Taking photos, and they've already set up their appointments with our principals to start work on our videos. Unfortunately, during the summer, they didn't want to settle on videos during the summer break because it doesn't really capture genuine footage of our students in action. So they've had those already set up for the coming weeks. MediaWorks is the other company that we're working with. And this is going to be those little mini branding videos that are going to be at the checkout stands at Smart and Final and Super. So on August 15th, those will go live. I believe if you click on the image, it should play.
On the branding, Lennox branding office.
Maybe under
On the blue bar. There you go.
It's very short. Like I said, this is what as parents are in line, or this is what we're going to see. Like I said, it's very quick, but it just says like find your packet and it's there to school. For like I said, for 3 months, like I said, and like I said, their hope is to branch out to other little stores by us. But like I said, it's just one way for us to get our name out there into our community. So we look forward to bringing forth more products. Once Porter creates their videos for us and to bring them to the board as they are delivered to us. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to personnel, Luis Castellanos.
So good evening, board members, superintendent, and the Lennox community, those of you present as well. I'd like to give you a brief update on the work. We can go to the next slide. update on the work of the personnel department during the summer and the beginning of the new school year. So the first thing I wanna do is recognize the efforts of all of my personnel team who worked throughout the summer to fill vacancies across the district. I'm happy to report that all general education classroom teaching positions are fully staffed. However, we still face challenges in staffing special education teaching positions along with some of our classified positions and administrative positions, but we are working on it. It's a work in progress. To support our special education classrooms who don't have an assigned teacher, we have been working very closely with our interim director, Ms. Diana Grant, and our two specialists, Ms. Lou and Ms. E. Special shout out to both of the specialists who have been working very closely with us to ensure that we do have coverage, and we do have, you know, either an agency teacher or a substitute teacher tomorrow so that the kids do have someone that will greet them at the door tomorrow. So second thing I wanted to just share is that we provided important training to all of our administrators during our summer leadership retreat, including sessions on a new requirement, AB 1913, which requires that on top of like the child mandated reporting, we also do training on child sexual abuse prevention. So we did a lot of training on that. And then we also did a refresher of the workplace violence prevention and what the role of the employee versus the role of the administrator is. The next thing I want to talk about is our risk manager, Anna Bernardino, has done a great job in launching our mandated compliance training. It's a condition of employment for all of us who are employed by the school district to complete these trainings. We are using the learning module system through our ASKIP partnership. And so on top of those trainings, different departments, so for example, Gina, Ms. Baker's department has done additional training for our custodians. I know that Mr. Diaz has done additional training for cafeteria staff. So on top of the basic mandated training, there are other trainings taking place that are specifically tailored to the role that the employee has. And then finally, you can see from the pictures around my slide there, we last year when we negotiated with CSEA Unit A, we came to an agreement to give steel toe shoes to all of our custodians and maintenance workers for safety. And so you see all the smiles there. The employees came and picked up their shoes. And one of the things I wanted to point out is that I guess when I think of steel toe work shoes, I think of those yellow construction boots, you know. I didn't realize that we have moved past those yellow construction boots and there are all different types of steel toe shoes. They're fancy. Check out, there's a cowboy boot there that so whatever, you know, the actual truck came to our site. This was coordinated by Ana Bernardino and Gina worked with her. So big shout out to those two ladies for putting that together. So our employees didn't have to travel anywhere. They got a voucher. They came here to the district office and all they had to do was you know, measure their feet and go shopping. That's the truck there. You see all the different types of boots. And so I think you can see most, I think all the employees were happy. I mean, I wanted a pair of those boots. Those were pretty cool, but I didn't get the voucher. So anyways, that's my update. Thank you. Yeah, they're pretty cool. So if you see our custodians wearing cowboy boots when you go to the school sites, just know they are steel toe.
Moving on to business department, Ms. Elias.
Good evening, Lennox Board, Superintendent Committee, and Lennox community. Just going to provide some updates of all the happenings in the business department. So I want to start off by recognizing our maintenance and facilities team. They've been hard at work in the summer, repairing lamps, you know, finding things to fix with trees, and they've just been hard at work preparing the school sites for the new school year. So I want to thank Gina and the maintenance staff for getting the sites ready for the new school year. And the next And then the fiscal team and the tech team, we did a training with our secretaries and clerks on some of the policies and procedures that we have. And the tech team and then the fiscal team, they really took the time to lay out the processes and show examples of what's expected from the school site. So I want to recognize their work in presenting that training to our school site staff. And finally, the food services team was recognized by the USDA with the Healthy Meals Incentives Innovation in Nutrition Education Award. So this award is for the the practices that Francisco and his team has put out on the district by working with the students in the community. So we just want to recognize Francisco getting this national recognition for the district. And that is all I have.
Moving on to instructional services, Ms. Blanco.
Thank you, Mrs. Tavidian. Good evening, board members and the Lennox community. So this summer, instructional services was definitely very busy planning and coordinating many professional development activities that took place mostly last week or some the week before. So we had a counselor summit, and all of our counselors got trained on suicide prevention, as well as a new MTSS system, EduClimber, which is part of Power School. Our preschool teachers, Ms. Nellie coordinated CPR, first aid, phonemic awareness training for them. Our LEAP personnel, under the direction of Ms. Alamares, also had 5 days of training, and those trainings really mirrored what their teachers were doing, so that our continuity of programs, so the Leader in Me, they were trained in Leader in Me, they were trained in MTSS, so they had 5 days of training for after school program. And then our teachers, all of our classroom and special ed teachers, had 3 days of training, starting with our AI summit that we had at Hawthorne High School last Wednesday. And then at their school sites, they had Leader in Me. So this year, the Leader in Me focus is going to be on setting goals. So all students are going to be setting goals with their teachers, taking a look at where they are now and where they want to be. And then finally, last Friday, we had thinking maps, and we've moved into a different genre of writing with our thinking maps, which is informational writing. So we look forward to continuing our PD efforts throughout the year.
Thank you, Mrs. Blanco. So as part of our charter renewal petition process, Lennox Mathematics, Science, and Technology Academy Charter School, also known as LMSCA, it's easier to say, will be presenting tonight. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and have them come up to the podium and introduce themselves.
Good evening, board and members of the Lennox community. If I haven't had the privilege of meeting you, my name is Armando Mena, and I'm the executive director at Lennox Academy. I've had the privilege of working at Lennox Academy since inception in 2003, so we're now entering our 23rd year of operation. And on behalf of the Lennox Academy family, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, for allowing us to highlight and present a little bit about our school programs. My understanding is that we have about an hour to do so.
Minus 45 minutes.
15 minutes. So, we have 15 minutes. We're just going to try to give a snapshot of our overall program and kind of highlight some of the great things that are happening at our schools. So first of all, this evening you'll hear from a couple of different members from our teams, and hopefully through their presentation you're able to see the support of our mission. And so there's our mission statement. I'm not going to read it. I'll just kind of share that our goal is to really equip our students with the tools and all of the skills necessary for them to be successful citizens. And we feel that we have really pushed our students to thrive and excel, whether it's in the classroom, on the sports field, or in collaboration, working on different projects and competitions, or even the hands-on opportunities, as you can see by some of those pictures. So some of the different things that they engage in. But most importantly, I think overall, I think a lot of our success comes from our school motto, which is really we instill in students familia, ganas, and orgullo. And I think that has really served as a driving force to build the culture at our school. Couple of things that we'd like to highlight. It's always nice, we like to think that we're doing a great job, but it's always nice when there's external agencies that validate the work that we're doing. And so we've been fortunate throughout the years of having those outside community validate the work that we've done. And you could see there that, it's U.S. News and World Report, Newsweek, the College Board. So we've been fortunate to have done very well. U.S. News and World Report started ranking high schools in 2008, and since then we've made the top schools in the nation. And so really, we can't take all of the credit for that, as I hear, the district talk about Cradle to College. A lot of the great work has happened here within the district. And so I think we share these accolades, and it's really the hard work that starts, when they're small. We only see them the last 4 years, and I think there's a lot of success. There's really a result of the great work that starts early on in the district. So congratulations to the district. And now I'm going to pass it on to our principal, Mario Villanueva, who I've had the pleasure of working with prior to our inception. We both started at Lennox Middle School in 1996. Fortunate for him, he still has all his hair. But somebody who's well respected in our school community and has done an amazing job and has a big heart for the students we serve. So without further ado,
Thank you, Lennox Board, and Lennox Community for having us tonight. So as Mr. Mena said, I'm going to highlight some things from our mission, just to give you a snapshot of our school. So first of all, our graduation requirements exceed the 8 through 2 requirements. We want to make sure that every Lennox Academy student that wants to go to a 4-year college has that possibility. So that's why we make sure that they all take those extra years of math, science, and foreign language to be competitive. As you mentioned, we've been recognized by the College Board, and we've been on the AP Honor Roll for the last couple of years. Ms. Romeli will share some more scores, but so we should get AP Honor Roll again. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we offer AP classes to students of low income, so we've got the AP Access Award. And for the Honor Roll Award, 90% of our seniors complete at least one AP class, 70% earn college credit, and 10% take 5 APs or more. So we got 2 platinums and gold. Hopefully this year we'll get the platinum for 5 APs as well. Students can also earn college credit through our articulation with El Camino College. So when they complete our Project Lead the Way engineering classes, or there are art, fashion, and design classes, and they transfer to El Camino, they get college credit there. And in addition, to supplement our elective classes, because again, it's not the school our size, we only have so many classes that we can offer. But El Camino College also teaches classes on our campus to our students. These have things like ethnic studies, first aid CPR, sign language, public speaking, so there's been a little bit of variety to supplement our language program. We've had CTE expansion. As you know, we purchased the auto shop next to our campus. And 2 years ago, we opened up automotive technology for students who like to work more hands-on. And that's been a very popular course, so students learn wheel alignments, tire rotation. So even though we're moving to electric cars, there's still things that will always kind of carry through that students can do. In terms of other organizations we do, so we have MESA. Our students, as Mr. Mena talked about, compete in different things in MESA, ACE, Explore Vision, Girls Build LA, and we usually do pretty well in those things. The one thing that I'm more proud of is the competition that we host. Working with Ms. Munoz in collaboration 2 years ago, we started having our LMSTA STEM fair. where the students of Lennox come, all the elementaries, the middle school, and they, our students mentor them at their sites for a couple of weeks. They get together for projects, and they do their competitions, and I think it's pretty good. Superintendent Tweeting last time, she stayed the whole time last year. She was entertained.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah, so that's something that, we'll continue to do and hopefully keep growing. And then another key component of our program that we're very proud of is as part of our LCAP, to ensure the success of all of our students, especially those students with ELs and IEPs, we have our Ghana's program. And with our Ghana's program, we have 12 paraprofessionals that are all degree. And I'm proud to say that almost all of them are alumni, so they're very invested in our program. And they shadow kids throughout the day in their classes, they support them in class, and then they also tutor them after school. So this has really helped improve or reduce the number of students that struggle, that are on probation, that are very deficient, and our SSAs are fantastic. They do so much on our campus. And as Mr. Mena mentioned, attending to our school, Familia and Orgullo, the thing that I'm most proud of is actually our team advisory. Team advisory is not unique to charter schools. Most of them have them, but for us, I think it's really our secret sauce. It's really where, our focus that we have is that we want to have a school connection with our students. We want to make sure that the students feel like that place is their home. And so what we do there is we do a lot of team building. The students also participate in service learning, volunteer in the community. Actually, Ms. Vasquez was one of our teachers, and one of her colleagues worked with Holly Mitchell's office last year, and they did a beautification project over by the metro by Animo. And then, we have our Buddy TA program as well through there, where our upperclassmen mentor the lowerclassmen. And another great thing is our reflection component. So at the end of the year, every student has to reflect on what they've learned. And then there's different key questions that we're going to start to integrate. So 9th grade, who am I? 10th grade, who do I want to be? 11th grade, how will I get there? And 12th, how will I succeed? Thank you very much. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our Director of Curriculum and Instruction and my ex-7th grade student when I was at LMS, Dr. Cynthia Lamelli.
Good evening, board. Yes, I'm a proud Lennox School District student. Went to Moffitt, Go Lions, and LMS, where I have the privilege of being Mr. B's student. I think it was his first or second year at LMS, so it was interesting, but very fond memories. So I'm here to kind of briefly go over our data. So I know there's a lot of numbers, and you can probably read them, but I just wanted to highlight a few accomplishments. So we start from 2019, that was pre-COVID, and that was our strongest year to date. For English language arts, you can see when we combine the standard exceeded and standard met, 75%. Post-COVID, I don't have to tell you, it was a struggle, right? Coming back in person, there were so many factors that affected, our students and learning and teaching. So it's been a little roller coaster, to say the least. But I'm proud to say that for our current scores for 2025, we're back to 75%. That met or exceeded in English language arts. To be transparent, we do have that academic achievement gap with our long-term English learners, and that's one of our focuses at our campus currently with all of our staff to try to minimize that achievement gap to ensure that they are going to be successful to post high school. So that's English language arts there. Then for mathematics, back in 2019, our strongest year as well, 54% met or exceeded. And this year we're at 36. It's been, roller coaster. I know, if I'm not mistaken, our Lennox School District is using IXL, and we started about a year and a half ago, I believe. So we're, it's still relatively new, but we're hoping that helps, minimize the gap. And then this past summer, so about 3 weeks ago, some of our incoming freshmen, based on our placement exams that we do in-house, we do the NWA math road test. If they scored, below standard, we invited them for a 2-week intervention program in mathematics and or English. all of our English learners were invited as part of the intervention to ensure that they're successful in our courses, and then they were introduced to our mathematics curriculum, CPM, College Preparatory Mathematics, so they don't feel as behind in their math class when they start. We started actually yesterday, was our first day with our students. And then science, first year that we administered, I believe, was in 2018, so it's a relatively newer assessment. Back in 2019, we have 33% that met or exceeded, and in 2025, we have 50%. So our current senior class, half of them are proficient or exceeded in science, and we're very proud. Our science department has had some turnover, moving out of state and whatnot, but we have a good sort of core now of teachers who are really, embracing writing across the curriculum. That's something that we started 3 years ago, writing across the curriculum in all disciplines but electives. So I think we're starting to see some of those results, particularly in our science program, where those teachers have embraced those strategies in the classroom. And last but not least, or in state, before I move to AP scores, this is for last year because we don't have the state averages for this year yet. But overall, even though we've been up and down since post-COVID, we still have exceeded the state averages in all 3 areas. And hopefully we continue that trend for this 2025 administration. So even if we drop a little, we still perform better than the state averages, and particularly for low-income Latino students. So we're very proud of that. And here are AP scores for the last 3 years. About 2 years ago, we expanded access for our English courses. We used to only have 1 section of English language and composition at the 11th grade level and only 1 for English literature. As of a year ago, we added another section because of the demand of students. And I think something that we've seen in the last 3 years is open access to our English learners. So even if there's still English learners at the senior level, I'm proud to say that we've seen an increase of enrollment, particularly in our English courses and our psychology courses, where in environmental science, where they feel the confidence because of that culture that we have, that they are going to be successful in the courses. And at the end of the day, whether they pass the AP exam or not, we know that being enrolled in a college, an AP course, right, is going to better prepare them for the rigor of the college, workloads once they leave us. So we want to ensure that they also have access to the AP, rigor that we offer at our school. I want to highlight our AP US History teachers. That's tremendous, where we've actually surpassed the passing rates, not only at the state level, but also at the global level. So our humanities classes are, trending upright, and then calculus and physics did really well this year, because those are very, challenging courses for our students, and we saw an increase in their passing rates. All right. And now I will introduce, our Director of Student Services, Ms. Veronica Jimenez, who started, I believe, at Buford and has been at our site since 2006. So let's take it away.
Good evening, board members and Lennox community. I know we're coming close to our time, so I'm going to give you guys just a quick overview on a couple of other data points for our school. So on the screen right now, you'll see our graduation rates, and we've been very proud to have graduated now 19 classes since the inception of our school. And later tonight, you'll be able to hear from one of our alumni. That's always one of our biggest proud moments that we have at our school, is when we get to see the accomplishments that our students have been achieving. And it's been nice, as I was actually able to work with her since Buford, so it's been nice to see her grow throughout the years. But as you can see there, we've been fortunate to have on more than 98% of most of our years, close to 99% of our students graduate every year. At the bottom right, you'll see also, since the inception of our school, we've had pretty good averages with regards to students being accepted into 4-year schools, with an average of 79% since the very beginning that have been accepted into a 4-year school and meeting the agency requirements. That just gives you, at the bottom, you have a couple of different banners from our students, the different places where our students have been accepted. This next one just highlights our attendance. As you can see, post-COVID, our attendance did drop, as we saw throughout the state as well. But despite that, you can see that we've been averaging it's been 95% or higher every year on the that we've had for our attendance every year. And one of the other things that we're really proud at our school is just our overall positive school climate and our overall sense of school safety as reported by all of our stakeholders. This just provides some data points on here with regards to some data that we collect from our stakeholders. Every year we survey our students, our staff, and our parents at different points throughout the year. We've been very fortunate to have very high participation rates, so we feel that the data that we capture actually captures the opinion of all of our stakeholders on there. And through that data, we're able to make changes to continue to improve our program every year. As you can see here, there's a lot of different things, but I'll just highlight the top three from each one on there. As you can see, like I mentioned, a very strong positive school culture as reported by our stakeholders. That from our staff right there, we have 94% of our students that they feel that our school is a supportive and inviting place for staff to work. 97% of our students feel that it's an inviting place for them to study, and then we have 98% of our parents also think that it's a supportive and safe place. So we're very positive results overall. I'll let you guys content that, please. Here's a couple of other data points with regards. One of the other things that was highlighted on the previous slide as well is just the low percentage of students that are reporting bullying on there. So this is one area that we also try to really work with our students and to really build that calming atmosphere on there. So we make sure that students know that bullying is not to be tolerated at our school. So we've been fortunate to see those numbers improve over time. And last year we only had 2% of our students report that they've been reported that they were bullied at our school since the beginning of the school year, which equates to about 12 students on there. 12 students too many for us, so that is still something that we continue to address and make sure that we have those situations and support them. The other thing that we support our students is with their emotional mental health. So this year we're fortunate to have 2 full-time mental health therapists on site, and as you can see there also we've been able to see improvements with regards to mental health support. And this last data point here just highlights with regards to our suspension data. Unfortunately, last year we did see an increase on there with regards particularly with just that 4 choices that students are taking. We had a total of 16 suspensions last year, but it's an area that we are continuing to support our students and really trying to work with them, get them to providing more of like that historical practice approach and really just trying to support them and helping them make better choices as they're going through their lives. And now it's my privilege to introduce to you one of our board members, Ms. Rachel Rodas.
Well, good evening. So, as you can see, it's very impressive what they've accomplished here so far. But we want to tell you some behind the scenes things. For example, we have a very stable staff in there. Ms. Castellanos, you might appreciate this. They have very, very low turnover rate. Only last year they lost 1 teacher who ended up moving out of state and 1 TA, 3% loss. As far as site leadership, extremely impressive also. Since the inception of LMSTA, we have students started off at the beginning, Mr. Villanueva and Mr. Mena, and then joining the team in 2006, Ms. Jimenez, and then Dr. Lomeli coming on in 2014. As far as board members, there have been some amazing, quite impressive board members that have been along the journey of LMSTA. We started off in 2014 with Dr. Bruce McDaniel. So he went on to do his service after here to help LMSTA, because as Ms. Fajardo can remember, back in the days is that the idea of developing LMSTA and what it is, it very much was invested in seeing the success of this. And but Dr. McDaniel stepped down and to continue to enjoy his retirement, and he turned over the reins to the B board president, to Dr. Steve McRae, who some of you may know, who was also an instructor in the Lennox School District and also an AP. And then we have, as far as Karen Laturna, who in 2014 became a key member on the board, helping about dual enrollment with, as Mr. Bennett had mentioned about, or I think it was Mr. Villanueva, about the engineering program and being able to get dual enrollment at El Camino and also through our site. So extremely impressive. And then we have John Stable, who is a retired engineer and who joined in 2017, and he's attached to the Rotary, so he really became committed to get scholarships coming to our students to see the support they need. And he personally himself and his family add additional scholarships for our students so that they can go on to be able to be successful in their future career. Last year, well, in January, they added 3 more board members, and I'm proud to say I have joined the board for LMSD along with Chris Powell and Brian Johnson as joined. So very excited about how we can contribute to the success of LMSDA. And Chris is retired CFO for a commercial contractor, so his expertise is going to be coming very helpful to us. In addition, he was also a board member for Nelson since for about 14 years. Now, if you don't know Dr. Medani, you know that he was a very fiscally responsible person. And so we brought over that and found a kindred spirit in Mr. Villanueva and Mr. Mena about being fiscally responsible since its inception. When they found out each of the audits, they have found no findings since 2014, since being independent. Now, LMSTA is currently continues to be able to reserve. And the reason why is because they're always thinking about the future and expansion of facilities. So we're very excited that in 2018, they acquired an adjacent property that they would like to ultimately build a gym to be able to have additional classroom for our students. Now, some of you may be wondering, how are they fitting in that in Lennox somewhere? Well, if you see the auto body shop, it's right across from that, and also the Joe's Fitness Salon. So we're very excited about what that's looking like. Now, as a result of sound operations, we've also had several students that come back from, have gone on to be great successes from the LMSD. As Ms. Jimenez had mentioned, several of our students are going to graduate. We have right now average about approximately 2,700 students that have graduated from LMST. Quite impressive. And as a result, we think what's best to be able to hear is from our own kids, from their own mouth. That's what we remember at the end of the day. So I really have the honor and pleasure of introducing Celeste Vasquez, who is from the class of 2014, who would like to share for you in her own words about, and just to let you know, a little back, she was a Buford Bengal, an LMS Fire, and also LMSTA.
Hi everyone, good evening. Very happy to see everyone. So my name is Celeste Vasquez, from Little Bengal. And I'm happy to be here to express my support for the LMSTA Regional. I joined the LMSTA family in 2010, where the leadership family really helped foster my sense of community and perseverance, which is very critical to my higher education and ultimately entering the career course. So when I first entered LMSTA, that's when I was first exposed to complex mathematics, fascinating sciences that really intrigued and sparked the interest in me in learning more about space. And so fast forward a few years, in fact, one of the photos on the mission statement was the innovation challenge that I participated in my senior year of high school, and that sparked my interest in working with economic. And so that's where I'm at now, thanks to the rigorous curriculum that I went through the Lennox Academy in my higher education, and also fostering that sense of community. And I'm very happy to say I keep those close relationships from my friendships, my connections. I'm very proud to say that my fingerprints are now on space. Yeah, very happy to be here and was always supporting the community.
That concludes our presentation. I just wanted to thank once again the Lennox School District and all the support from all of the offices, business office, instructional services, personnel. Everybody's always been very supportive of our programs and truly appreciate everyone's contribution as we work together to continue to build success for our students in the Lennox community. So all is very much appreciated, and I hope that this serves as evidence that we're working as hard as we can to continue to move our students forward, and an appreciation for the collaborative effort of the students. So thank you.
Any board member questions?
No, I just wanted to thank you guys for putting this lovely presentation on. It's very informative, and I appreciate all of the data you guys brought forward. So thank you very much.
You know,
Yo quiero decirles que en nombre de la comunidad, yo agradezco todo el trabajo que ustedes hacen. Conozco a muchos niños de Lennox que han salido con ustedes y siendo jóvenes ahora exitosos, muchos graduados de la universidad y con buenos trabajos, que ese es el fin de nosotros, ¿verdad? Que los chicos de Lennox tengan esa experiencia, esa facilidad de crecimiento en su vida. Entonces, creo que el seguimiento que ustedes le dan a lo que aquí se hace es excelente y felicidades a todo su equipo, agradecidos enormemente.
Yes, recently Animal Leadership created like a partnership, se puede decir like a dual enrollment with our junior high students for advanced mathematics and whatnot. Does LMST offer those kinds of opportunities for, I know you offer it for your high school students, present LMST students to go ahead and dual enroll with El Camino. We offer the same opportunity for Lennox middle school students that aspire to attend LMSTA or any other high school with those kind of opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Mr. Villanueva mentioned earlier, we're trying to, even before the middle school, we're trying to outreach, and we have our engineering teacher reaching out and doing these competitions where we're bringing on, the students at the elementary level, and they participate in the science fair, where our students go and kind of mentor the students. So you do a few lessons, you kind of guide them through the competition, and then they come on campus and they participate with this culminating event. So I mean, we're starting to do more of that, and hopefully that continues to grow, and hopefully we can do more with the middle school. And now I've reached out to Ms. Pichardo, and hopefully this year we make it happen where we can come on campus and collaborate a little bit more with trying to one of our areas of need is math, and so we really try to figure out ways in which we can work alongside the middle school, and kind of whether it's math competition and those kind of things that continue to help us students succeed in that area.
That would definitely be something great to see in the upcoming future, as you see our parents, our community really aspire to stay local. In doing so, having that partnership, that pipeline already built in would definitely be a benefit for all stakeholders. And giving both that high school credit, to Lennox middle school students, that's definitely a step up.
I think, I was at Lennox Middle School when the idea of starting the new charter was up. And I think one of the things that we need to remember is the community wanted a high school locally, and I think we have, committed to that. And, you have families, the entire family has attended, and then the primos, and then, so we have this pipeline. And I think that is great, connecting with the middle school, because you are right, mathematics is very difficult. But I think it's doable, right? And we can see that with our students getting exposed, that mathematics is doable, and having options, right? As a parent, whose daughter went to the academy, she wasn't a science nerd and she wasn't a math nerd, and she discovered that, but there were other options in the electives, with the creative. One of the things that you showcased was the music nights where students get to play a song with Mr. Fong from the beginning. and learning how to, and she learned how to play the bass. And so I think it's continue to offer students options, If, mathematics and science is not their thing, well, what else can you find? What other passion? So I am very grateful as well as Ms. Gonzalez said, as a community member, as an educator, that the data, I mean, we look at student success, I'm like 99% graduation rate, and it's like, but some people may say, oh yeah, but it's only 500 and something kids. Yes, but you are following these kids. You are providing the support for them to be successful. And I think the Ghana's, tutoring program that you have, where it's not just the TA, but it's somebody who follows the students to the classes. Because sometimes it's also about the skills, right? How do I take notes? How do I study for a test? And what if I have an IEP and I cannot memorize things? What are the alternatives that I have? And I think in looking at that, it's something that continue to keep in the forefront, right? What are the needs of our students with special education needs? What are the needs of our English learners, our long-term English learners, to keep them motivated, to continue to develop their skills, And I think definitely the pathway with El Camino, not only with project, with the project-based learning and science, but also in the humanities. I'm very happy to hear there's more AP choices, in the humanities for students. Even during COVID, it was 2020. I remember, I'm like, you're gonna go take the AP exam, and she did. She went and took the AP exam under different conditions, but students had the option to take it at home. And at home was very difficult because the gardener next door was, I remember, how traumatic that was. But, you made it work, right? So I wanna say thank you, and we continue. I also am glad that the application process was diminished. And those changes were made to ensure that it was a much more fair process, and that was feedback that was given to you and feedback that you followed. So, and again, if there's more feedback that we can provide for support, for our students to be successful, it's great. So, if there's no any other questions, it is 7, so do we want to take a break, or do you want us to finish this point? Should we take a break, or should we continue? ¿Estamos bien? Okay, so let's continue. All right, Mr. Vitia, thank you. Muchas gracias.
Okay, so as part of our Superintendent's Advisory Council meeting section, I just wanted to inform our community and our board that we will be continuing our important work of exploring solutions to address declining enrollment and being ready to provide our board with a recommendation by our November/December board meeting. So this next week, August 19th, we will be continuing our work with our committee, so it's next Tuesday. Hopefully have an update at our September meeting with what new work we've been doing with that committee. So we thank all of our members.
So you're coming back to us?
Yes, absolutely. We will come back in the September meeting with what new work or explorations we have completed at that time. And then we have no community updates for tonight.
All right, any other questions? Okay, all right, so let's continue on. So that was district updates. We had Lennox Math and Science Technology Charter School presentation. We have the Superintendent's Advisory Committee report, and there's no other community members. So I'm moving on to item 5, reports, LTA.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I don't think I need to introduce myself. I'm back. For those who are online, just think of the Lennox Teachers Association. Oh, by the way, on the way here, I was leaving LMS tomorrow, the first day of school, and there was a parent with their child, and they were looking for the La Junta, the meeting. And they thought there was some type of meeting, and I asked her to show her phone, and she got the email from the board meeting. So she thought she had
Everybody
to be at this.
does, every
Well,
Friday.
and this particular parent thought she needed to be at this meeting. Maybe I should have given her a ride. It's getting out there, right? Their emails. thank you for the presentation. I wasn't, this isn't part of my presentation, I didn't anticipate, but as I mentioned in a previous, board address, seeing the fruits of our labor is always really encouraging, and I think there's an opportunity there. I'm not gonna say much more of it, but I think we can highlight that from LMS too, because some of these students that come out of Lennox, LMST are also Lennox students or just products of the district. So I think there's an opportunity for us to advertise it and to bring back some examples for our students. So I just wanted to thank you guys for that. So I'll start off today. I want to call for our partnership again this year. There's a lot of excited teachers out there, but as I mentioned in my board address, there's a lot of uncertainty and nervousness and mounting challenges that teachers are facing. It's a little bit of a different taste to it this year. And I'm talking particularly about all the things like artificial intelligence and what that means for our profession, post-pandemic students, the challenges they continue to bring us and trying to figure that out. Funding threats, from the federal level and beyond, and the uncertainty, of course, that's coming with our declining enrollment, and inevitably, or maybe the possibility of our school closure or whatever the SAC committee decides. That's just this climate of uncertainty is really taking a toll on some of our teachers that comes in. And so again, our call for partnership again is our employees are on the front lines, but they're also some of the biggest advocates of this district, right? They love working here and they want this to work, but it's getting continually harder. So on behalf of them, I want to make it clear again this year that we expect to continue to have a meaningful partnership in whatever arena that brings or whatever forum that is, and that we have our voices heard in the decisions that shape our district. And that our members' voices and feedback are heard and considered. So just to call on that partnership and on that end, as we work with these challenges on our mind and on the forefront of all these new changes to our profession, we once again extend an opportunity for you guys to come visit and visit our classrooms, and I'm talking specifically to board members, and our teachers to see their daily realities and what they experience. Our counselors, our occupational therapists, our speech therapists, our psychologists, and what resources they truly need to make sure they provide the best experiences for our students. So that's an invitation again and a call for a partnership. As for upcoming things that are going to happen, we do have negotiations continuing. We started at the end of last school year, and we're going to kick it up again in a few weeks in September, right? And so again, I wanted to remind us of our guiding principle as our association, and that as we face these challenges, I think that guiding principle is even more important, and that's that our members' working conditions are directly related to our students' learning conditions, right? And in order to do their jobs effectively, I think we have to listen to that feedback and understand what they're experiencing with all this anxiety and uncertainty that is looming. So when you consider the decisions that have to be made with these challenges, and for example, when you discuss school closure and any other decisions that affect teachers directly, remember the disruption that it creates and the stress that it places on our teachers and our counselors and psychologists and all our members. And that climate of uncertainty is inevitably influences the educational experiences that our students have, right? Not only educational, but the services they receive from our members. So it's just directly, and they're just inseparable, right? So our goal in the upcoming negotiations is always to be collaborative and to keep that guiding principle in mind, and never to be adversarial. But it is also to be realistic, because some of these things we have to face, right? So we ask that you view every decision through the essential guiding principle that I just mentioned, and how this affects our educators and service providers and their ability to provide students with the best possible experience. So we look forward to productive negotiations. Hopefully we all, no one's going to win 100% either way, but we hope that we keep that guiding principle in mind, that our students' experiences are related to our members. So we look forward to working together again this year and a meaningful partnership. We hope that you take our invitation to seek our input and listen to our members again this year.
Thank you, Mr. Capella. CSTA. And then superintendent.
So prior to our board meeting today, our new Huerta principal, Mrs. Garcia, had her meet the principal event, and a big part of our cabinet was able to go and just to provide some support to her. So I want to commend Mrs. Marbelin Garcia as well as her admin team for having a full house tonight at her event. We are very excited for the Huerta community and know that they're going to have a great year. You can already feel just the spirit in the cafeteria in terms of everybody, in terms of the connections she's already making with her family. So we're excited for the Eagles and can't wait to hear all the great things that are gonna take place there at that school year. And then just for everybody else, we wanna wish everyone a great school year tomorrow, whether it's your first year, your 10th year, your 32nd, or your 40th, Mrs. Rubio out there. Lennox is a very special place to be, and we're glad you're here. So hopefully everybody gets a good night's rest. I know me, regardless of first or 32nd year, I don't get much rest because I'm too excited. I already know what I'm going to wear tomorrow, and I'm excited. I can't wait to get up in the morning and start my school year tomorrow. So everybody have a great first day tomorrow.
At this time, we're gonna move to item 6, public comments. So I have one. Ms. Rachel Romero. Good news. That's what it says.
Good evening, and so I'm here about good news, and the good news is this. First is welcome back for another great year, and in that welcome back, it's like the highlight of being able to say at that welcome back event that you were able to recognize outstanding educator of the year and also classified of the year. And to get there, it has to come through a selection process. Now, throughout my career, never got a chance to be a part of the process. Man, I heard great stories. And to me, I always visualized at that movie, The Gladiator. They're going for everybody, directors, principals, everybody, walking in as gladiators, to be able to fight and be able to argue about saying who should be that educator of the year. And what a joy it has to be for the superintendent and the directors to sit there and hear the passion, the example, the data, they will say why their educator should be up. Now, they may come out bloody, they may come out mad, they may come out angry.
Yes. We're sorry, Mr. Bronco.
I get 10 seconds out of that. But at the end of the day, what joy to be able to say that as colleagues we get a chance to share with each other about some pretty outstanding educators out there and how hard it is to select that particular person and also the classified. But I'd like to also be able to say that this year you did an outstanding job of recognizing our dance teacher, Renee Tiedemann. Now, I had the pleasure of being able to meet her first day when she came at LMS to take the place of Marian Gladiosa Nagel. And she came as a student that Ms. Nagel recruited Ms. Tiedemann to say, come and take over the school and find it special. And throughout the years, she has just been tireless as far as being able to expand and enrich on the idea of dance. Just have joy and just being able to dance and express yourself in that way. And the enrichment of that particular one. Now, I'm on a mailing list of over 100 retirees. And so we like to keep in communication with each other. And when it was announced that Ms. Tiedemann was got that, I would say Ms. Heckinger, all of you that know her, she put it best. She said, Renee is exceptional human being, grace, beauty, and brilliance. All is but a few of her qualities. And so, but in addition, we had wonderful Monica. And I know Monica since she was a young girl. And Monica is just outstanding. The passion for the Lennox community is strong. And I think in her family, it's a requirement for all the kids to come and work in the Lennox. So she's had all the kids come. And because she loves it, she's passionate about it. And so we want to continue that. And that's why I see here at LMSTA, as far as their kids are coming back to be a part of it. So I'd like to leave you with this quote that Ms. Heckinger said. Education is a practice of freedom, an act of love, and a commitment to the collective liberation of all people. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Item number 7, adopt and sign minutes of the following regular board meeting, June 17, 2025. I need a motion. Moved by Ms. Cruz. Second. Second by Ms. Cordero. Discussion? Vote? Dr. Carter, yes. Ms. Gonzalez? Ms. Cordero? Yes. Mr. Vargas is not here. Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Thank you. New business actions, superintendent, number 1, conduct public hearings for provision of the Lennox Math and Science Academy LMSTA charters renewal petition submitted to the district requesting renewal for charter. So we open the hearing at 7:09 PM, so it's open.
I have a couple.
Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
On page 3,
Okay.
I went ahead, did somewhat of an alignment of policies in regards to Education Code 47605. That's all stated within page 3. And in doing so, there's a couple, I wouldn't say discrepancies, just more of like a tuning of educational code and LMSTA's policies of their charter. For example, the smartphone policy. They don't really have anything that stipulates in that regards. It's just, for example, it says limit or prohibit student smartphones used by July 1st, 2026. I didn't see any of that being stipulated within their jurisdiction. And then there's also another kind of odd one that has to do with extreme weather protocols. The oversight exhibit requires adoption and annual review of extreme weather protocols, again by July 1st, 2026, Ed Code 48901. Again, these are just, stipulations, just trying to align their policies with our policies as we go over their proposition, yes. And then there's also the ethic trainings that governing board members are required to comply with. I didn't see that again stipulated within their policies. So again, just alignment, discrepancies there. And then also for pregnant parenting student accommodations, I didn't really see that, being them a high school more than us. Even we're kind of need to kind of abide by that, more so than being a high school. Hopefully that's not the case, but if so, I mean, there should be some accommodations there. So that's that. And then if we move on to page 53. Let's see. Okay, there's a couple of them, but I think the high school course transferability, LSD regulation 04-20.4 requires informing parents about UC-CSU A through G course transferability. They definitely do outline their WASC accredited and AP courses, but explicitly parents' notification procedures are not detailed. So that would be something that our parents could definitely benefit. There's more details to that requirement. Then if we go into the, let's see, it doesn't really speak specifications of their meeting location compliance.
You mean the board meeting?
Yeah, based on Brown Act, Governing Code 1090. It just doesn't, it's kind of broad, doesn't really give specifications. So that's another alignment.
Are you still 53, Ms.?
No, I've actually moved on.
Okay.
I'm just kind of, the pages, I have to kind of go and see the pages. That'll be page 53, yeah, no, that was still 53, okay. And then if we move on to, page 59, it refers to Ed Code 48207.3, allowing students with temporary disabilities to return when able. That's not really stipulated within their, policy. So that would be nice to kind of have it outlined, as things do happen. And just having it outlined, I think it just serves more of a purpose, for clarification. And then finally, the page 94, when it comes to oversight fee acknowledgements, it's broad strokes again. It doesn't pertain to the charge of 1 to 3% charter revenue for supervisorial oversight. That's required on Ed Code 47613. And then of course the technical assistance cooperation.
Are you
Again,
still on page 94?
94, yes. That has to do with same policy. No, I'm sorry, not different policy. Ed Code 47607.3. Commit to cooperating with technical assistance requirements in regards to subgroups, kind of like LCAP. Being more specific in that, kind of where the monies are allocated, and kind of like the way we do it. It's not, with them, it's kind of, again, it doesn't go into specifying their subgroups. That's pretty much it. It's just more of a alignment with our policy and their policy, so just more clarification and be able to be aligned. That's it.
So for clarification, am I asking, so, are we asking then for LMSTA to make these changes so that they're more aligned to our policy? Or are they just recommendations?
No, I'm not sure. I'm just, it is public, a portion of the public comments to speak on their petition, so I'm speaking on it. It's up to them what they want to do. I'm just kind of helping the process along so we could be more in alignment, and I think it would serve all stakeholders, especially the children, the families, the parents that we serve, to be more in alignment. So policies combined, and it stands stronger together. That's all.
All right. Any other board member comments during this public hearing? Okay. So at 7:16, I'm going to close the hearing. All right, so I'm gonna move to item number 2, adopt bylaws 9150. I need a motion.
Moved.
By Ms. Cruz. Second by Ms. Gonzalez. Discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
I want to congratulate the board for this return of our student trustee for our Lennox Middle School student. And just, it doesn't, we don't go into, again, it's a good policy, but it doesn't go into the specifics of the application selection process, the training mentorship portion of it, the meeting structure, accessibility and whatnot. But I think that's something that we could explore later once we have the students on board. Again, just having those clear boundaries, especially because we're talking with a 6th to 8th grader. I mean, they're not high school students, and we gotta make sure that they're up to par in regards to being here, and that we have all the support they need for them to succeed.
So are you saying, Ms. Cruz, to have like a protocol of once they're installed, who's gonna guide them through the process? Is that what you mean?
It's almost like, for example,
Verifying.
yeah. For example, the application process, is it by a teacher, by a counselor, someone that knows the character of the student? It's not just, that they can't withstand the leadership. They could, follow through, have word. That they have those leadership qualities that we seek for them to carry out their assignment. That kind of like, and also is when it comes to the interview process. Do we have an interview process? Again, these are just things that could be stipulated at a later time. The policy, as long as we approve it, and then later on, because it's a kind of more of a kind of expectations once we implement the policy and the requirements of the students and us as a district to have the support mechanisms for them to succeed. And I could give more details as we kind of cross that bridge.
I was also gonna recommend too, if any of the board members would be attending the board, training this year, the CSBA, that might be a topic, you know, one of the workshops that you might wanna attend, because I know they definitely have student attending those conferences too, so that might be one of the topics.
Awesome. So what, see, and the idea is that we need a parent to go with them, you know, they're minors.
Well, if and when that student is selected, yeah, they would go, but I'm just saying that might be a topic to attend, like one of the workshops,
I see.
like for you to
For us.
attend.
Oh, I
Yes, to
see.
find out like, how did you select them, what was your process, and that would give us a little more
More
insight on
details
how-
or kind of,
At least an option.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, roll call, Fajardo, yes, Ms. Gonzalez.
Sí.
Ms. Cordero,
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So item number 3, rescind administrative regulation 0440, district technology plan. Need a motion? Move on, Ms. Cordero. Second by Ms. Gonzalez, discussion.
This for technology?
Can we discuss this, Ms. Turitin?
Yeah, so this is, just to clarify, this is the AR policy, not the actual board policy. So
Okay,
the
got it.
board policy, it's still in place, we will still be creating a plan. This is just the AR, so I know, you know, Mr. Douglas and I, we had discussed it. It sounds confusing because now CDE no longer requires us to create a plan and submit it. However, it's still best policy to create it, which is why the board policy is still in place and we are still gonna be creating a
I saw
technology
that,
plan.
so we're rescinding the previous one and then
The
we'll
AR.
do the new one.
Yeah,
The
the AR is.
administrative regulation.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, I don't know why, Janet does that, but.
So Fajardo, yes, Ms. Gonzalez.
Sí.
Ms. Cordero.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yeah.
Okay. First reading for the fund administrative regulations. Okay, so that's A through AH, okay? So at this time, I'm gonna ask the board if you can please have a break at 7:20, please. Is that okay? Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, 7 break. This is, 10 minutes? All right, so we're gonna go on break at 7:20. 30. Okay, thank you. Business office, okay, approve regular food services purchase order listings. Need a motion, please. Moved by Ms. Cruz. Second. Second by Ms. Cordero, discussion. Okay, no discussion, Fajardo? Yes. Ms. Gonzalez? Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, approve human resource report, I need a motion. Moved by Ms. Cordero. Second by Ms. Gonzalez, discussion. I see some former administrators joining our substitute pool, I'm glad, thank you.
Recruiting wherever we can find them.
Absolutely. Any other questions? No? Okay, all right. Call the vote, Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez? Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Approve revised certificated management salary schedule. I need a motion.
Move. Second.
Okay, so Cordero and then Ms. Cruz, discussion. Yes, Mr. Vitin, can you, explain this revision?
Yes, and Mrs. Castellanos can help if I don't explain it correctly, but during the summer, we had to have our district nurse come in and to support our students during our summer school. In order for her to be able to do that efficiently, she had to decrease the amount of days on her contract. So to do that, we had to decrease the amount of days, and to do that, we had to edit, or I guess what, right?
So for her,
Modify.
Current district nurse, she approached the district and said, I really like my work here in the Lennox School District, I'd like to stay on, but, due to her personal situation, she couldn't commit to the extended, school year. So I did my research locally, and a lot of local districts, what they do is they do extra duty in the summer for the nurse, and so the nurse has a shorter work calendar. And so what they do is for the extended school year with our special ed population, that's really where we needed the district nurse. They just hire, or they do extra duty, like they hire an agency. So I brought it back to cabinet, and everybody agreed that, you know, let's shorten the calendar and go back.
So she can have room for the summer when she really needed.
She needs it for personal reasons, so she explained her situation, and we thought it was reasonable, and it was, we were able to.
It was a win-win for her and for our students, because we needed her to be here for our more fragile students.
Yeah, and those are very, very, very difficult positions to fill, because it's a district nurse that's an RN, but they have to have an additional credential to work in a school district. So, in the end, we considered the pros and cons of her request, and we thought it was best to honor that request and align it with local districts, the number of days. And then for summer school or the extended school year, we're gonna next year work with our Director of Student Services to contract out for just those. And it's not the whole 4 weeks of extended school year, it'll just be 2, 3 weeks. So that's the reason, and so we have to adjust the salary as well, because we have to prorate it based on number of us.
Any other questions? Okay, vote, Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez? Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes. Just procedural question, did we already do the first readings of the following, in other words, item 4? New business, we did that already?
Right, we did, Ms. Right, so it's a first reading, so I stated it, so there's no action. Because it's a first reading. The action
I have
happens.
some questions on, but okay, so first reading.
Okay, consent agenda. Each meeting of the board approves a group of routine action items typically referred to as consent agenda. Items may be pulled and acted individually. If any board member or superintendent requests an item to be removed from consent agenda, it will be taken up in the order indicated on the agenda. So, are there any items to be pulled before we do the motion and the second? Okay, Ms. Gonzalez?
I do.
Okay, Ms. Cruz, page number, please.
Superintendent's office item,
Yeah, what page, I'm sorry?
I don't know.
You're, well, it's paginated. So just tell me the page number so I can circle.
item B, facilities item. Which is approved service agreement with, Golden View Tree Care.
Item D. Page 15 starts, but what number of D?
Page 16, 3, item 3.
Item 3, okay? Got it. Okay. So it's 3, approved services agreement with Golden View Tree Care.
That's it for consent agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Cruz. So I need a motion to approve items with the exception of D3. I need a motion. Moved by Ms. Cordero. Second by Ms. Gonzalez. Vote, Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez. Ms. Cordero.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz.
Yes, so I
Okay,
saw,
hold on, let me go to the items.
oh, okay.
I haven't read it yet.
I read it either.
Sorry. Okay, so approved services agreement with C, 1253:2526 with Golden View Tree Care. I need a motion.
Move.
So Ms. Cruz. Second by Ms. Cordero. Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
Yes, I saw that there was a lot of trees that were killed and taken off. That was a lot of trees. I'm not sure what the process was. I mean, Lennox already has any green. And to go about, you know, like I understand safety issues, I understand, you know, plumbing and getting into the concrete and making it, you know, unsafe and whatnot, but, you know, it's like, I'm not sure if there was any alternatives of removing the tree or saving the tree or working around it to not take out so many trees.
We haven't removed any of the trees yet.
No?
This is for approval for the vendor to
Remove all those
help
trees?
us. I'll let Gina explain.
Yeah, cause it looks like they're
I need you to listen
remove
to
them.
why this is the need.
So we're not removing all of those trees, those are the trees that we found that was causing problems underground. So we have some trees that's going into our retaining wall at Moffett that's causing some issues. We have trees at Lennox that's lifting up our concrete, lifting up our portables. Some are messing with our battery packs. So we trimmed them, we have multiple vendors come out, give us their advice on what to do. We trim some and some we have to remove just because of what's going on the ground.
So is the plan to remove them completely?
Not all at one time, we're trying to see if we remove one and then go underneath and remove them from our piping, see how that will work, but the reason why we put all those on there is because it's a process. So
Okay.
we're trying to see if we do this one and this one, will it help our piping system? Will it stop the root from hitting it and breaking it apart? That's why we have those on there that's identified.
Yeah, cause I saw the date, I believe, July 18th, I'm like, oh my God, all these trees are missing.
No, that's when we
Put in the request.
put in the request.
Put in the request, it wasn't actually removed of all the trees,
We did
okay.
a walk on that
I
day.
haven't had the chance to actually, you know, go to specific locations and see for myself.
So I think I recommend pictures, right? What are the issues? Because I think once you see the issue, Ms. Cruz, I think you will be, you will have to, you know,
Yeah.
right? Because number one, the safety of our students is first.
Of course.
Okay, you know, like if it's a bungalow and children are gonna be there, you know, I think to me it's like, you know, the safety of the children again is our number one concern. So,
That and also, eco-friendly, you know, options for our trees. I mean, we don't have to take them completely off the ground and try to preserve them. That's also, you know, if it doesn't cause a safety issue. That's definitely a goal to aim towards, because in Lennox, we already have any green, not only space, but trees. And given the whole environment situation, I mean, trees are our friends. And
But I
I'm a
also
big
think we can
advocate
think
of
of our
green space and
alternatives.
green trees.
I think we can think of
So
alternatives.
some of the people, some of the teachers, the ones that are creating one of the major problems are the ones that's been there for a very long time. And so some of the teachers wanna do smaller trees
that won't create such big problems. So that's some of the solutions that the tree vendor is working with us to offset some of those trees. So if we do remove some will be replanted later on, but we are looking at other options.
Thank you, really appreciate that last, possible solution to replace them. Green is such a, it's just in Lennox, I mean, just walk around, it gets hot when it's hot, like we're in the summer, the pavement, the trees are what really cools us down, and not only that, I mean, you're talking about a living thing, believe it or not, it's a tree. And there's, that's a whole ecosystem, and just to remove them just like that. For safety reasons, I get it, but if there's solutions that could be brought to the table, that would be greatly appreciated to try to save as many trees as we can.
Or in lieu of, what are the options, right? If there isn't, how can we, get some new ones, or the green space, or
Replace them to maybe ones that don't have the roof, encroaching on the pavement or the classrooms, or more safer, I think what would it be, the arborist, or ¿cómo se llaman? Arborist, they could, bring more expertise to our decision making.
Well, they were involved with that, because our tree service group, they have arborists within their team. So when we did our walk, we did a couple of walks actually, and we just identified the ones that were creating havoc to our buildings, to our piping system, to our concrete. So we identified all those just in order.
Thank you.
Okay, vote yes. Ms. Gonzalez?
Sí.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes, finding solutions to save the trees as best as possible.
So now we are going to move to closed session, okay? We have following items that we discussed during our closed session: public employee discipline, dismissal, people discipline, suspension, expulsion, appeal readmit, conference with labor negotiator, conference with real property negotiator, and conference with legal counsel. So we are going to recess for closed session at 7:42 p.m.
1 hour, Board President.
So 7:42.
And then if you can, go ahead and place the slide, or standby slide. Thank you, directors, have a great night. See you all nice and pretty.
Oh, see you tomorrow. I'll see you soon.
That's why we
Okay.
27 PM. Okay, so we return. 27 PM. Okay. Reporting from closed session, no action was taken, but direction was given. Okay, future agenda items, 13.
I just want to report to, in terms of Mrs. Prue's request for a breakdown of all the schools. Once the dust settles, which is after all the changes and all the, hopefully no more, what do you call it, rescindings and resignations. For our September board meeting, we should have that list for you. And I know for Ms. Gonzalez, we have her history project. I'll be putting that in this Friday's memo so the rest of the board can see that history project, how it was completed.
Thank you. Any other items
Yes.
to consider?
Given the USDA awards that was provided to our food facilities, I definitely commend our director and staff, the team that made it possible. I would like to see in a future item, exploring our food services, not only in regards to FDA approved kind of USDA, CDC, whatever, health components in regards to what's provided at the menu of our children, but also things that might not even be discussed or that we are mandated to provide, but yet they are healthy choices. For example, seed oils. For example, high fructose syrup. For example, citric acid. For example, items that you would see in the food that it's still approved, yet it's not healthy for you. And if you read the labels, hopefully you guys are proactive in reading the labels of what you do actually consume whenever you do go to the market. And being that we are an educational organization, what better way than start educating our children, starting with the food that we provide them on a daily basis, for them to start seeing what the government approves and the options of consuming or not, approved or not by the FDA. These are things that are not really talked about yet in the world of health. It's affecting our population.
I'm not sure how you envision that.
How do I envision it?
And I'm not sure how do we address that.
To begin with, a discussion. What's actually on the menu? What items? For example, you guys remember the Animaniacs, una caricatura que pasaba back in the 90s?
Yes, I do.
There's hay un clip que está bien fregón, like, at least it kind of talks to this. It's like low key, like disclosure. I would say it. It's a little song que dice, they're like da 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 da, and then they're talking about the ingredients in the food. Obviously I can't sing it, but there's a clip I most definitely could send it over to you. Our kids could watch it, and there's could be a whole lesson on that. Like a wellness policy, but it's more not nutritional. Because we are in part. We're good with our wellness policy. We've been getting awarded with our health nutritional, but there are components within the food that we consume that is FDA approved and all checked up. Todo 100% perfect. But is it? And that's what if you go to supermarkets, they got GMOs, they got all this other stuff that it's readily available for the public, but is it healthy? And these are questions that I had to learn as an adult. And as age comes, there's inflammation, there's this, there's that, and it comes down to nutrition. So se pone uno trucha and you start learning, it's like something that you never learned in school. So why should we wait for our kids to get sick for them to learn at a later age when they could get it from the beginning? They start learning, becoming conscious consumer. That they, whatever they consume, they're actually reading the label. We used to have a health and wellness committee once upon a time at St. Margaret Center. St. Margaret Center, St. Joseph's Church. It's because they're Catholic.
And we had a lesson, we had a class, we had a lot of parents that attended. I was one of them.
So, but I think what you're alluding to, Marisol, I don't think it falls under, just.
Nutrition?
Yeah, I think what we're saying is, I think it's talking about health and so if I'm a cafeteria helper, how am I gonna do what you're asking? So you know what I'm saying? How am I gonna, so I think, or kids are gonna say, well, I'm not gonna eat that because none of that is healthy.
No, but our director could see the ingredients and choose, and if there's an option without high fructose syrup, if there's an option without citric acid, if there's an option without inflammatory kind of responses to our human body, then you go by that. I mean, if you have A through Z options, then choose the one, narrow down to the one that is the least impactful to unhealthy choice. Or no sé, am I making sense here, you guys?
I mean, like I said, I can definitely, he's going to implement what he's mandated to by the guidelines. In terms of education, I mean, there's a lot of grants that LACO will offer, and they can come out and provide training to our teachers, because they did last year. They come out and they offer, any teachers that want to come and attend, they will do some training for the teachers, and the teachers can go back and take it to the students. And they talk about healthy choices, reading labels. They have some workshops that they do for our parents as well. So in terms of that, we can offer. The only thing is that, I mean, I do sort of do that with trepidation, only because, I don't want to mandate that on our teachers, because I mean, I think we did it was voluntary for our teachers to attend.
Yeah.
Only because
there was some training that they got paid for it to attend, and it was about having nutrition lessons in their classroom.
Yes.
And then Francisco also did a cooking class.
He did a cooking class
did a
for
cooking class for the teachers as well.
So we could do like I said, like these sporadic throughout the year. My only thing is, I also don't want us to take away the attention away from, obviously, we've got the reading, the writing, the math, the science, because that has to be the core of our attention, but if
I
we
think
can
there are
do
some
these
units, I think there might be in some of the units in the curriculum where this applies.
There you go.
And I think that's, that's up to
En la Elements, te digo por mis hijos que han estado ahí, el maestro o maestra de física les da una lección donde los enseñan a leer las etiquetas de lo que se come. Y mis hijas llegaron a la casa y pasó lo mismo con las dos en diferente tiempo. Ya no traigas estas galletas, unas galletas de Costco que siempre se las habían comido, que por las calorías y que el aceite con el que la hicieron, que las papitas tampoco, y empezaron a ver las etiquetas de la comida, de lo que yo cocino, del aceite. Y a lo mejor no nos damos cuenta, porque los niños no siempre platican lo que aprenden en la escuela. Pero yo comentando con mis amigas, a todos nos pasó lo mismo, que llegaban y querían tirar todo lo de la casa. Yo había llegado a la Costco con mi caja de sabritas diferentes y, mamá, lo tienes que tirar, esto no es bueno, tiene mucho sodio. Y mis amigas decían lo mismo, oye, que aquella que llegó que quiere tirar, que tire todo. Entonces sí tienen ese conocimiento, pero ya más grandecitos, como en la LMS. En la primaria, pues todavía ellos no tienen la madurez tal vez para leer las etiquetas. Aparte, en los centros de padres había una clase de nutrición y ahí nos enseñaban a las mamás. Igual, llegan 15, 18 mamás a esta clase, pero ventaja es te enseñan,
I think we're talking about awareness.
te enseñan a hablar sobre qué tipo de aceite cocinas, si es buena la margarina o no, y muchas cosas. Entonces, sí, siento que sí se está trabajando en eso.
Y si se está trabajando, pues qué bueno, adelante. No me gustaría verlo más en el programa de nutrición. Sí, yo sé que nuestro Francisco tiene un trabajo que hacer, ¿no? Y está bien, más bien está excelente. A mí nos trajo un award y le aplaudo. Nomás como quiero traer el conocimiento.
Because he's not translating what you're saying, and we are live.
Oh, so I just want to bring awareness. Yes, awareness and bringing it to our what it is that we consume, right? For our students, for our teachers, and what options are out there. Even though it's FDA approved, is it really healthy though? Do we have
Okay.
better options?
I think we have a better understanding of what we're talking about. And awareness, and nutrition, where would it fit? And how can it be, beneficial, because we're talking about food and the ramifications.
And just to be very clear, it's not about, oh, FDA approved. Yeah, there's a lot of FDA approved, including GMOs. It's not the best option though. So if you have options, it would be good to know and be aware of it. And I'll send you guys the Animaniacs video. It's really cool. Once you listen to it, they just start kind of wrapping or rhyming all these components, ingredients, and then I think that's. Oh yeah, and finally the federal education grants that were impounded, quote unquote, frozen. I know there's a lot of uncertainty from the Department of Education or the Trump administration, but yet, it's not only going to impact our Title 1, 2, 3, a lot of our funding. I did some research and I couldn't find like the lump sum. I couldn't find like what's allocated to which title, and I know that we need to kind of keep our finger on the pulse as these things kind of fluctuate.
So do you want to know which funds are specifically?
Specific, if that information could be provided, so we know how to project out, in good faith that the money stays there unfrozen and not taken, so we could, make our budget work for our kids.
And another place where you can see it is the very first page of the LCAP, the budget overview for parents, has a circle graph and it shows the percentage. It shows a number. It's not by each category, but it's a total of federal funds and what the percentage is overall.
But
Is it with the new allocation?
No, but I think what Ms. Cruz is saying, which fund, because it has Title 1, Title 2, so which fund specifically we're targeting?
Well, yeah, you could give the previous funds, there was any kind of what we had then, what we have now, because I know it's frozen for a minute there, but now that it's ready to use, how are we going to allocate it? In other words, what monies can we count on? Given that, everything stays the same.
Yeah, okay, no, I think that's a doable, and I think that's good for us to.
Yeah,
Have a clear understanding.
things are moving.
Okay,
so.
or Title 3, which Title 3 is?
Yes.
Is this Title 3?
Title 4, 21st
Yeah.
century, Yeah. That's it.
Porque están anunciando muchos recortes en esto.
See, but
Así es.
it's specific, right? So which one? Which one of this are the ones that, so what is that? Okay. Any board member reports? So yesterday I was able to attend. It had been a while to, our back to school welcome and, and definitely we talked about, when I was addressing, our teachers, talking about having an open ear and a kind heart to the needs of our community. Because our community was ravaged with ICE raids consistently, and I think this is our opportunity to restore hope with our students and what is it that our families need, right? I think having that open ear and that kind heart to be able to support, right? Because it has been traumatic in so many levels, and so I think it's having that awareness and also identifying what are the behaviors the students are gonna, demonstrate. Withdrawal, not wanting to participate, or not being able to attend, or be, so I think one of the things that I did ask the superintendent is, can we reach out to the families and who's gonna be able to come, who's not gonna come, what are the processes that we can use for support, and I'm glad the admin team went to the homes. I think that is essential and that is important because, our community needs to know that we're here to support them as much as we can, and I think there was a lot of food deprivation. You know, and those are the things that we need to have an ear on, you know, and be open to what is it that our community and our children need. Because that we can support, they're gonna be back with us. Okay, so that was my report, that's kind of like what I mentioned yesterday, right? And again, they're not those kids, they're not the kids, they're our kids. You know, this is, they're our kids. And how to, and I told them, I also talked to the LEAP staff and I said, thank you for your service because our kids are able to be in a safe place, you know, and they're not roaming around, you know, and families can count that, you know, they're in a safe environment. So ensuring that it continues to be safe. Yeah. So that's my report out. Ms. Gonzalez?
Just to piggyback on what you first said, Angela, in regards to the back to school event, I really wanted to go, couldn't, but I definitely, you know, heartfelt intent to really aim towards a productive and enlightening school year for all stakeholders, especially the children that we serve. So yes, congratulate the staff of the year, you know, the teacher of the year, just everyone in attendance for being here with us and pushing through, as they say in uncertain times. But I think having one another and having that open communication, clear transparency as we're moving forward, making decisions. Everyone's invited to you know, partake and enjoy in all that we do, and really the uncertainty should be thrown out the window, because if we really know what we have here in Lennox, we are definitely certain that we're taking strong steps forward and making sure that everyone, you know, even the most los más necesitados, ¿verdad? That they the most needed, that they don't go without, and that includes our staff, our teachers, administration, just everyone here at the Lennox School District, that we truly do care. And then just finally, the Lennox Garden continues to work and progress in reopening, and we're doing a lot of progress. All are invited to come and enjoy, as we're taking the leadership to really bring us some green space. Hopefully, primeramente Dios, there's not only going to be Lennox Park, but there's going to be an adjacent park from Parks and Recs next to the garden, like a walkway, a pathway. So I'm very excited for that. More green space, more trees for our community that much needs this kind of como respirar, para, you know, todo lo que se ocupa, lo poquito que tenemos, que no nos lo quiten, if anything, to provide more. So I commend the Second Superstorial District for seeing the vision, for jumping in and helping out. It's much appreciated. And then of course our food giveaway, our weekly food giveaway on Fridays at the dead end by in the Lennox Park, next to the senior center. It's up and running, it hasn't stopped, and it's very much appreciative to you know, the Justice Center that provides us the goodies to make sure that our residents have healthy choices on a weekly basis, especially our seniors.
Cualquier persona puede llegar.
Cualquier persona. No se les pide nada más que traigan una bolsita o nomás lo que puedan cargar. Sí. Los viernes casi como de 11 a 12 por ahí llegamos y bajamos las cajas y a llevarse ese dijo.
Okay, so at this time, I need a motion for adjournment.
Move, second.
Okay, moved by Ms. Cordero, second by Ms. Cruz, so we are adjourning at 8:46 p.m. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and vote. Ms. Gonzalez? Sí. Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Sí.
Everybody.